Treating at the Veterans Administration hospitals and stuff like that, they got about 600,000.
Okay, so do you think there's 4 million, 10 million, or 22 million living in the U.S.?
I say 22.
That'd be right. Very good.
Wait a minute now, you get, let's not go through a lot of questions
Oh,
here.
I only got 3 more.
Golly, all right.
How many stars were on the American flag in 1954 when November 11th officially became Veterans Day?
I'd say probably 48.
Yep. Very good.
The people don't know this, but President Eisenhower was the first president of the 49th state, and he's the first president of the 50 states. It was under his administration that Alaska and Hawaii came into being.
Cool. Awesome. Why is Veterans Day on November 11th?
Well, that's when it was decided to do it at that time, and it's a long story about that.
Okay, I'll make it shorter for you.
Oh.
There was a big space between Labor Day and Thanksgiving on the calendar.
I don't believe that's true.
Okay. It's the birthday of the unknown soldier,
That's not true.
or it marked the end of World War I.
That's a great old Big 10-4. That's it.
Awesome. What is the purpose of Veterans Day?
It's to honor all of the, my opinion, it's honor all of the soldiers, people that were killed in the war.
You did it. You got them all right.
Oh, wow.
Very good.
Now, what are we supposed to do now?
Now the class is going to ask you questions.
Okay.
And they have their questions, the sheet right here.
Wow.
Marcus, can you ask the first question?
What is your branch of service and your rank?
My rank is a sergeant first class. It was when I retired. And I was in the Army. I was in the medical corps. I have been at the Walter Reed Army Medical Center. I was there at my first duty station in the military hospital was the Tokyo Army Annex number 2, but I was at what they call the 8167th Army Hospital. And we treated all the casualties from Korea. And we had Turks and Greeks and Ethiopians and Pakistanis, Americans and Canadians, stuff like that. We had as a kind of UN hospital. I worked in the, my MOS was, I always call it the Nutcracker Suite to be, to kind of be a little bit funny, but it's in the psychiatric service. People that's mentally incapacitated. And my next duty station, when I left there, I went to Walter Reed Army Medical Center in Washington, D.C. And then from there, I went to the Letterman General Hospital in San Francisco, California. And from there, I went to the 97th General Hospital in Frankfurt, Germany. And I was the non-commissioned officer in charge of the psych service there. We had 4 wards, and we covered 25,000 square miles in the Frankfurt Medical Service area. We had a lot of dispensaries out there. We also do the Stockgate run, and we did all the neurology service, the psych service, and all the evacuation for the United States for the patients that were going to be further treated. And they would bring them to the United States, and they would usually send them, the patients closest to the hospital to their home. And I went to, from there to the Valley Forge General Hospital. We had like 1,900 patients there. And we had to keep a lot of them out on convalescent leave. They get a certain position in their treatment, and they don't have to be a everyday treatment from the technicians and the nurses and the doctors right there. They could go home and be on convalescent leave maybe for 30 days, and then they come back and see how they're doing, and they may send them right back on another 30-day convalescent leave. So we could have bed space for the worst ones coming in. That was the idea of doing that. And in the service, and they have some kind of conflict. You have people getting wounded every day, and they're evacuated, and they need some additional treatment in the United States hospitals. And they're soldiers, and they need to be treated. And they need to be treated immediately by, well, you know, a better place for treatment. We have more doctors and nurses, and the facilities would be so much better there at the hospital. My job, well, my last job, I guess, I went to Vietnam, and I was a comeback medic there. And we were not in, I never was in the hospital, don't know where they were, but I had a job out in the boondocks, they call it, and the farthest place you could find. And my job there was, they had, I think, 4 sergeant first classes there besides myself, but I was a senior guy there. We had to go out in the villages and the hamlets and train them in, you know, the medical field, sanitation, and we'd take them out on the rifle range and teach them how to, you know, fire the rifles and self-defense of the villages and hamlets. That's our job. And we had to go out on night operations and day operations with them. And then I came back to the United States, and my last job was back to Walter Reed Army Medical Center. And I was not there that long because I had a purpose of retirement was the age bracket of my kids. And I figured that here I have been 20 years in service, and I need to be close to home with the wife and the kids. And the age bracket was what convinced me, you know, and I need to be home with them so I could be there, you know, as a family.